Hello, dear listener. A note about tonight's episode. This is going to be a bit heavier than what we usually discuss, as it delves deep into the conspiracy zone, specifically shit that is pretty QAnon adjacent. If you're not into that, we understand. However, we do hope that you'll stick around and dissect these modern-day conspiracies with us.
This is the CIA. We're here to tell you that this is an illegal podcast. We don't want you listening to this, but there's nothing we can do to stop you.
We are excited to welcome you to our city, home of
The New World Order.
Enjoy exciting nightlife at one of our many downtown.
Satanic temples.
With over 30
Cults.
to explore, there is definitely something for everyone. Or take in a show at our world-class
Beamer Camp.
We hope you come visit us soon and experience
Total enslavement.
All right, Dale. So you were saying, as you were just saying before we started recording, you were going to list all the foods you can eat.
Yeah. Hamburgers, pizza, hot dogs, beef aroni, mac and cheese, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, milk, legumes.
Okay. All right. That's good. That's a good Benny list right there. So I got to tell you, I went to a party last weekend
Yeah.
at our favorite Brazilian's house.
Fucking old enough
And-
to still go to parties.
Old enough, still go to parties at older people's houses. But
Yeah.
it was a great time. A lot of people were there, really fun time. And, I'm off my crazy diet. Mostly, I still kind of halfway doing it because I feel good. I don't drink coffee still.
How many cuts of meat did he force down your throat?
Oh my God, I probably ate several pounds of meat. I won't go into details because it might gross some people out, but
Mhm.
I'm going to go 2 days later. I went to my spin class because I've been doing the spin class.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here on the bike. The bike didn't crash. Haven't crashed in a couple of weeks. Doing pretty good. And I'm like sitting there going, and I'm like, damn, somebody in here smells bad. Like beef. Like somebody just smells like straight up meat.
Yeah. You sweating out the meat, got the meat
Yeah,
sweats.
Oh my God, it was so bad. Like I got home and I took my tank top off, and I was like, oh my God, it was me. My whole tank top just smells like
Ugh.
beef tallow.
Yeah.
Like,
Go fry up some steak and shake fries with your shirt.
yeah.
Oh boy, that's gross.
But I'm not doing that every day. I'm still on my yoga teacher training journey. Did I tell you I've actually signed up for my yoga teacher training?
You
Have we
mentioned
covered
you're
that?
going to do your certificate.
Yep. Starts in January.
Mm.
Doing a lot of yoga lately. So it's antithetical to eating a bunch of beef and that ice cream you just watched me eat. all
I
that.
ate this fucking quart of ice cream right before we
No, it
recorded.
was not. It was like this much. The little tiny cup inside the big cup.
Oh, okay. I only saw the big cup.
Yeah, no, it was a very small amount.
Yeah, still. I don't know what your fascination with eating a whole bunch of dairy before you have to talk a whole bunch is, but here we are.
I don't have to talk a whole bunch. This is your topic.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one too.
All I have to do is sit here and go, uh-huh. Wow.
Yeah, just put that on loop.
Fascinating.
You could just walk away. Put that on like a 20-minute loop, right?
Yeah. There are conversations I have like that.
Mm-hmm. The conversations where you're like in the doorway, you're trying to like slowly scoot your foot, and then they're like, and one more thing, Seth, I have this other really long-winded explanation that I wanted to tell you about, and you're just like, yeah?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I have a lot
Yeah.
of that.
I said bye, and I've been trying to get off the phone for 45 minutes. But
Okay.
go ahead.
Yeah? Uh-huh. So you're talking to my dad? That's what you're doing?
No, I was actually referencing talking to my dad. That's just the universal dad.
Mm-hmm. He won't talk to people for like weeks at a time, and then he like builds up all the conversation and then has to like get it all out of his system for like 3 hours.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, do you have no one else to talk to? It's like, no, shut up and listen. It's like, okay, fine. Oh, goodness.
Hey, dinner's done.
Yeah. come on. What are you doing? Why are you still talking to him? I was like, because he just calls me. That or he, like, sends me, like, 15,000 text messages at 1 a.m.
Wow.
And they're all, like, a paragraph long each. He just, like, because he uses the little stylus on his phone to, like, tap out all the letters.
I don't think that's more efficient.
I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying what he does.
Do you swipe or do you, like, tap out?
I will put the first 2 or 3 letters in, and I'll just use the predictive word text.
Oh, wow. That's disgusting.
Yeah, I have completely ruined my ability to spell.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, at least I'm swiping these words out. I have to be able to spell them somewhat.
Mhm.
Swiping is fun, man. You know, I'm
No.
like an OG, like when Swipe was an app you had to get on Android.
Ugh, it's so weird. I tried to use it
Yeah.
for a little bit, and then it just never got me the right word. And every word that had it had like a Q for some reason, and I just don't understand. And it's just like, okay, I'm done with this. I'm just gonna use the predictive word text and just.
You're talking about the early versions of Swipe. They're pretty good now. There was a keyboard I tried out one time. And it was like a different layout,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like almost like a flower, and you would like make these like flower petal shapes around it. It was actually pretty fun. It was like Swipe, but like doot 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 doot. Like listener can't see it, but it's like blop, 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 like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like imagine a flower. Imagine that I'm just drawing a flower in the air with my finger.
Yeah.
That's what it was like typing on it.
That's what he's doing. Very
Yep.
heavy gestures. I don't know. Doing all this stuff, painting Warhammer figures again. I posted some of them in the Discord. That's what I've been up to.
Yeah, I want to start painting Warhammer figures. I actually thought about for a little bit because we talked about painting Warhammer figures, and I was like, I would try playing Warhammer. And then I started looking at how much money you invest. Like, I'll paint a couple figures. That's a big investment already.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll just put those little guys on a shelf. Yeah. Oh, is that the shelf up there is a bunch of Warhammer figures?
Yeah, the small
Little
shelf
tiny,
here.
little tiny things? Yeah.
Yeah. There's
Nice.
about 50 of them up there.
Do you, like, make your own color schemes?
No, because I'm fucking unoriginal. I just use the ones in the book. I just use the color scheme
Oh.
for the book, and I just do that. This is what I'm working on now.
Oh, cool. Little tiny guy on a
Mhm.
soldering holder clamp.
Yeah, the little helpy hands are really great to use for this.
Yeah.
I don't use the magnifying glass, but it's good to hold stuff. Anyways,
Just
but
wait
yeah,
till you're 42. You'll be using that magnifying glass.
yeah, my eyes will still be better than when you were a kid.
You don't know that. I actually have pretty good vision. I just have an astigmatism.
I see. They're expensive. It costs I have maybe 200 little dudes for my army that I don't play because I haven't played since 5th edition. And I probably spent on the order of $3,500 on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I spent quite a lot of money on this.
Okay. If I bought like the little box that had I don't know, 6 dudes in it. There's like a
Mhm.
knight guy and some little helper guys, and I don't know all the guys. Maybe a little healer looking guy. Is that enough to start playing with? No? How many
No.
of those boxes? Do you have to have several of those boxes?
So it's based off how many points. Some dudes are worth more points than the others, but usually a game is 1850 is usually a good sized game for Warhammer, and that's probably on the order of 50 or 60 guys depending on the army, and then the vehicles and all the other stuff. So you're looking to
Oh,
be
man.
into it for at least $500 or $600 before you have enough to actually play a game.
Oh my god, that's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But you just keep painting them, putting them on your shelf, painting them, putting them on your shelf.
Yeah.
You could get a tattaoo though. I could just get a tattoo.
Yeah, nobody's allowed to see any of my stuff. You can't see it.
This is remember our old stuff about I don't have a tattoo because this tattoo would cost me as much as this car part for my samurai.
Mm-hmm.
Same kind of math. I actually have a tattoo I want to get now. I mean, I don't really care that much. I probably never will. But
Is it the
now it's
yoga flower?
different math. It's yeah, I just want the yoga flower with the hand in it. You know, the little hand where it's got 2 thumbs.
Yeah, my little guy right there. I got a squishmallow on him.
Yeah, that's what I want. But on my cheek.
Yeah?
No, on my neck.
Yeah, you gotta get on your neck right there.
Yeah.
If you get on your cheek, like the only thing you're allowed to get on your cheek is a little teardrop for all the guys that you killed.
All the guys I killed.
Yep.
What if you got
One little
a
red
teardrop for all the sass snatches you killed? You slayed.
Buddy, I'd look like the puzzle man.
Yeah. Out there slaying them sass snatches.
Mm-hmm. Just fucking slaying them cryptids. They call me the
You're
cryptid
gross.
keeper.
The cryptid keeper or the crypt keeper?
Cryptid keeper.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
Different energy.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, man, we should go to ads.
That's it?
Yeah, that's a good banter.
Okay.
That's a good banter.
Is it?
I think that was a pretty sufficient banter. You want me to say, like, do you want a list of things like, do you want me to just, well, no, we'll do yoga poses later. I'll list yoga poses on a different episode.
Okay. All right. Josh, the fine folks over at Slug Buddies has brought you a new exciting game for your phone. Are you excited to play it?
Oh, really? Is this the makers of Slug Buddy?
Globodyne Media Enterprises has brought to you the Slug Buddy universe as a gacha game.
Oh,
Now you can roll and unlock your favorite Slug Buddies and use them to battle against other players. From 5-star Sir Sluggerton and the epic level Slime Knots, you'll be able to build out your team and slug your way to slime glory.
oh, really? And can I upload the cards I have, like this shiny golden butt slug?
No, that's a different app. That's a completely different game. This one's just a regular video game
Oh,
on your phone.
oh, okay. Dang, I thought we were doing the cards game. I thought it was the card game on your phone.
No, this is a different game. This is a match 3 battler.
Oh, I gotcha.
Slug Buddy Mobile. Use the code DISPATCHES to gain 400 slug gems and 30 ounces of slug juice.
And it's not the card game, though.
No, it's not the card game.
Not the card game.
Listener, does this ever happen to you? Oh no, I worked too hard at work and my butt muscles hurt too bad. Well, you should try Burt's Butt Muscle Cream. You just kind of slather it on and it will ease all your pain. Its special blend of eucalyptus, petroleum jelly, menthol, and 50% benzocaine will sure to ease any butt muscle pain you have. In fact, I wish I had some right now. That's Burt's Butt Muscle Cream.
And we're back.
Welcome back, listener.
Yeah, welcome back. Back at the sack. Back at the Sasquatch sack.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're really big on
What's our-
Sasquatches tonight.
Yep. Because I'm a child and it's funny to me. So, Joshua, are you excited to talk about the stupidest shit that we've talked about on this podcast so far?
Yeah, man. Wisconsin racing?
Yeah, Racine, Wisconsin. So, I have a little intro, and then we can get into it. This one's going to be a fun journey through the conspiracy mind. It's going to pick up a lot of the tropes and themes that we brought up in Project Bluebeam, specifically the laundering of one or two people's ideas into the greater conspiracy. So, you excited to see where this all goes?
I am. Mostly because, like, you say the laundering of one or two people's ideas into greater conspiracy. You and I are one or two people, Dale.
We are one or two people. Conspiracies often point to various locations as having outsized influence on the world, such as the Bilderberg Hotel, the Vatican, and Washington, D.C. However, what if I were to tell you, dear listener, that other, less traversed locations were just as meaningful? One such place is Racine, Wisconsin. Often mentioned but rarely discussed, Racine seems to be the nexus of many conspiracies. Is there truth to this, or is it once again a series of coincidences that some people have taken the conspiracy crayon to? For tonight's episode, we are continuing our erstwhile exploration of conspiracy lore and paying a visit to the Midwest to see what the hubbub is all about. You ready, Josh?
I'm ready. Racing in Wisconsin. I got this page open for racing. WisconsinRacing.com.
Yeah.
.org. Yeah.
I see. Okay.
It's got all the cars, all the teams, all the sponsors. He left the... Oh, that's a stream.
Yeah, I got outed murked right before I could start talking about it. Why don't you quit eating so much fucking candy corn? What are you doing? It's not even Halloween. It's not even October yet.
Nuts.
Put nuts in your mouth.
Eating my nuts.
Yeah. So Racine, Wisconsin. I figure this will be a multi-step journey into a conspiracy rabbit hole that I have heard mentioned many times on the conspiracy radio shows that I listen to. Because as you know, Josh, I am fascinated by conspiracy. I think it's interesting to think about. I don't believe many of them, but as thought exercises, it's always fun to see what people are thinking about. Racine is one of those places that is often mentioned, but nobody ever explains why it's important other than the fact that it is. So I felt that this would be a perfect thing to end the season with, right? Since this is our final episode of season 2. And do a deep dive into why people talk about this suburb of Milwaukee quite so much. So, part 1, the city of Racine. First incorporated in February 13th, 1841 as a village, and then later as a city, Racine is located 22 miles south of Milwaukee and has an estimated population of nearly 200,000 residents. It is also home to the S.C. Johnson Company, and also where Little Golden Books were originally printed. You ever have Little Golden Books, Josh? You ever have those in your little kid library?
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Little Golden Books, for sure. What's your favorite Little Golden Book?
Probably the one about the goose. I like that one.
Okay. I had one. It was Grover from Sesame Street. There's a monster at the end of this book. I got it for my own kid.
I have that one too.
Yeah. Baby. Yeah. There's a monster at the end of this book. I read it 100,000 times.
I'm a little disappointed in Little Golden Books lately because they're all just about celebrities now. They're like about like T Swizzle and like LeBron James and stuff like that. They're not like.
Are they?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a Little Golden Book age child, so.
Anyways, it's also where a fair number of famous Frank Lloyd Wright buildings are, right? And we'll get more into him later. But moreover...
Frank Lloyd wrong.
Are you reading ahead of my notes?
No. No, it's a bit from C-Lab. You ever watch C-Lab?
I don't remember C-Lab very much.
Oh, C-Lab 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Who designed this place? Frank Lloyd wrong?
Yes. We'll get into that.
Okay.
Actually. But moreover, it is the Kringle capital of America. Do you know what a Kringle is?
The Dutch little cake things?
It is the Dutch little cake
Dutch
thing.
ring things? Yeah, I know what a Kringle is. I go to Trader Joe's.
Well, anyways, Racine, Wisconsin is the capital of Kringles in the United States. So that's an interesting thing.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. You can't visit a city without going to TripAdvisor and seeing all the fun things that are worth going to do, right? So I have done that, and we're going to look at a few things to do in Racine. We can visit the Racine Zoo. We could visit the Racine History Museum. We could visit the Eco Justice Center, which is basically just kind of like one of those big learning farms. It still looks cool. It has all 5-star reviews, so how bad can it be?
Yeah. Eco Justice.
Mm-hmm. You can visit the Racine Masonic Center. And because I'm fascinated
Masonic is different from Messianic. I'm just going to say.
Whatever.
Masonic. Yeah.
I'll pronounce it however I want.
Okay. I'm just, for the listener, I'm saying that's Masonic Center. Messianic Center.
Shut up.
Jeez, you're fucking predictive text typing.
So this is one of the 1-star reviews for the Masonic Center. You want to read this one for us?
Yeah. Updates and remodeling of the Durand Mansion. June 2016. The carpet has been removed and the beautiful parquet hardwood floors have been sanded and refinished. A new social room has been established for uses like wine tasting parties. The mansion is approximately 75% restored using period furniture pieces and knickknacks. The halls have been redecorated and are used in rental activities. There are 4 large halls plus the mansion. An elevator has been installed to ensure handicap accessibility. I don't understand why this is a 1-star, because I was reading it like I was upset, but these all sound like, does he not like the elevator? Dale S. actually is the reviewer, Dale S. here. Not like the elevator or the knickknacks, like.
I don't know. I'm the one upvote on this.
Are you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You always like other Dales when you see them?
There's so few of us. 1 out of 5 stars for
for this awesome sounding place where the parquet floors are. Did he just really like the carpet?
I don't know.
don't get it.
It's just really funny. I love reviews like that. And then you can also visit the S.E. Johnson headquarters, which I'll discuss later, was designed and built by Frank Lloyd Wright.
Okay.
So I also pulled a review for this one. Surprisingly, there's very few poor reviews. Apparently, this is like a worthwhile tour to do. So next time you're in Wisconsin, I recommend.
Oh, I like this one. Free tour and you get your money's worth. Very disappointing experience on several levels. First of all, I must admit that while I appreciate the beauty of FLW work, Frank Lloyd Wright, I am repulsed by the cult. At S.E. Johnson, I saw 2 buildings, beautiful as they are, which are unusable for the purposes of which they were designed. The research towers are not built to code and was abandoned decades ago, and now the offices are also vacant. So I am at a loss to understand how these are great buildings. And the tour itself has issues. The tour guide was reasonable, knowledgeable, and very enthusiastic, but were not allowed to take pictures inside the buildings and were given 15 minutes to view a museum exhibit, which was clearly worth 1 to 2 hours. I gave the tour 2 stars for the tour guide and to acknowledge that the tour is free, but frankly, I would have gladly paid a fee if I could take pictures and was given the time to enjoy the exhibit.
There's one other 2-star review, but it's basically them complaining about the fact that you have to book the tour in advance and just can't wander in.
Yeah.
So you may be asking yourself, dear listener, and you, Joshua, what's the problem here? This seems like a reasonably ordinary and unremarkable place for the most part, right? To start answering that question, we have to learn a little about Synod-Anon. Do you know what Synod-Anon is?
Synod-Anon. I imagine it's something on 4chan.
You're reading ahead.
No, it's just Anon. I'm using context clues.
Okay. So we've learned about the city a little bit, right? So I wanted to move on to part 2, Synod-Anon, the Q before Q. You excited about this?
So we've established that I'm not a big 4chan user, but isn't like Anonymous like the same? Like everybody on 4chan is named Anonymous, and that's why the whole Anon thing is?
Yes. You can choose to have a username, but most people don't.
So this is like U.S. Senate Anon. It's like a flex. Like we're anonymous, but we are the United States Senate.
Okay. Well, let me get into it. So
Okay.
So on September 11th, 2017.
Never forget.
Okay. I should play the American theme song while you...
We should play the Toby Keith American theme song.
Yeah, okay, we'll do that.
My daddy fought for the army. Where he lost his right eye. Something.
Mess with the U.S. will put a boot in your ass.
That basically.
Yeah. So on September 11th, 2017, a poster going by Synod-Anon would appear on the infamous 4chan/poll board. So poll is, for you, Joshua, and whoever else doesn't know, is their politics board.
I know what it means.
It's also full of like Nazis and people who want to like just be trolls and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Claiming to be a high-level aide to a U.S. senator ready to expose all kinds of nefarious dealings. His posting was ostensibly in relation to Pizzagate, which was the fashion at the time. I'm not going to get into Pizzagate because everybody should already know what that is, and it's also dumb as shit, so I feel it's best just to skip over that.
Had a lot to do with CP.
Mm-hmm.
Not Christian Post.
Secret tunnels under a pizza shop, and then child trafficking and all that other stuff. But was similar in tone and delivery to the person who would be later posted under the handle of Q starting in October 28th of that same year. So some people have connected like that this guy who's posting as U.S. Synod-Anon, is the full handle, may be like the first test bed of whatever group was doing QAnon, right? Is that this was like their first foray into establishing that conspiracy set.
Right.
I'll let you read here the OP, the original post of the thread here.
I am a high-level staffer for a U.S. senator. Both parties are trying to get Trump to bend the knee, and he still refuses. Pence is a traitor, so is Paul Ryan. and Trump has no one to help him drain the swamp. It's high time someone broke ranks and told you what's really going on in DC. Ask questions and I may answer.
First post, Proofer, get the fuck out.
Proofer, GTFO.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it.
So he goes on for 2 or 3 different threads to answer questions. Everybody's just like, yeah, whatever, dude, shut the fuck up. But he does mention Racine, Wisconsin a couple times, right? And you'll have here, this is one reply from another anonymous user. According to Vote, Racine, Wisconsin is literally the hive of scum and villainy, and Paul Ryan is supposedly knee-deep in this.
You know what Vote was, right? We talked about that on an earlier episode.
I will get into that.
Okay.
And then you see him replying to several of those questions. The Queen is as important as the Rothschilds. The royal family created environmentalism, runs the finance of all the royalty of Europe, and operates blackmail rings.
I feel like I established a voice for this guy, and you just put your foot right in it. He's kind of more of like a wizard.
Okay, then you read it.
You've utterly collapsed. The president ran unopposed for the only time in U.S. history.
Mm-hmm.
Keep digging on Racine.
Mm-hmm. There's a couple mentions of Racine in this whole thread, and I was like, okay, fine. Because I've heard other people post about this. This was the first thing I've really found that start tugging on whatever is going on with ostensibly Racine, Wisconsin. So this is where I started my dig. And that first post mentioning Vote was where I would start digging more into, right? 2.1, Vote conspiracy.
VOAT, listener, not VOTE. Like goat, but with a V.
One of the things about Vote is that it was from my notes, a social network often described as a Reddit clone and a hub for alt-right, and was permanently shut down on December 25th, 2020. But there's other things. People think that it was shut down on purpose by the government because it was full of conspiracies and stuff like that. But
okay, so my take on this is a little bit different. Everything that is anti-corporation tends to be called a hub for the alt-right, like Telegram, all these things. And they do tend to not limit the things people can say. So they do tend to have more right-leaning and extreme speech. So they can be hubs for the alt-right, whatever. But it was really an answer to Reddit shutting down APIs, right? Which was the what's API stand for? Basically, it's like, when you have an alternate software for accessing a thing that allows you to not deal with a bunch of invasive ads, for instance, or be subjected to a algorithm that you never agreed to sign up for that shows what you were. It's not American Petroleum Institute.
it is an application programming interface.
Yes. So I personally, this is one of those things where I'm not like, I'm not going to die on this hill. I'm not planting a flag. But as a person who is generally anti-corporate, and doesn't like to see things I've invested time into bought up and sold as, IPOs, right? I tried out Vote for a while. It just wasn't as good as actual Reddit, even with all the ads and stuff that I see,
Yeah, I've never been big on Reddit, so I never went on Vote. As we would discuss, I went on more like fringe, like actual forum boards and stuff like that. So
Right. Forum boards require reading, being informed, and give you the ability to long post your comments in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not made for infinite scrolling on your phone, which really, pre-2020, Reddit was a lot more computer-based with the APIs. I actually never even used Reddit on my phone before 2020. It was all like computer browsing stuff,
Mm-hmm.
It's the IPOs that made it so it's now an app that I can like infinitely doom scroll on, which is why I don't really go on Reddit very much anymore.
I've never really liked Reddit, so I've never really gone onto it. I'll use it for researching stuff like this, but outside of that, I don't go on it for any kind of pleasurable activity.
Well, big fan of the starting mission of Reddit. Aaron Schwartz was like, information wants to be free, so he was anti not anti-science journals. He was against the way that science journals are sequestered and you have to subscribe to them. You know, this is, we've talked about this before, about the way
Whole
that,
episode
you
on
know,
this.
right, the way that science should work is that the information should be freely available so that everybody can see it. And if you want to go and run a study to prove or disprove a thing, you need the information, and you shouldn't have to pay hundreds of dollars to subscribe to one particular journal to get the information, you know?
Mm-hmm. So that's where a lot of this stuff comes from, actually, that we're going to be reading tonight, are these old vote conspiracy posts.
Right.
So there was a archive site for vote called Search Vote, right? And that's where I was planning on doing the majority of my research, because I knew that there was a bunch of stuff that was going to be coming from this. But unfortunately, as of August 8th, 2025, that site has been permanently closed due to online safety legislation in the jurisdiction where the website is hosted. That's the only thing that's splashed on the page now if you go to searchvote.co. So you actually can't get to any of this stuff directly anymore.
It was hosted on some teenager's computer in the UK.
Ostensibly, yes, because this is when that UK registration came through, where they had to like start verifying people's like age and stuff to go to websites. So
yeah. And this is how you know the QAnon people are truly onto something.
okay.
They're not.
They're not. But that was basically kind of the introduction to where I wanted to say, it was like, okay, well, there's clearly a conspiracy here that revolves around Racine, Wisconsin, right? I can't get to the direct, information that I wanted to get to, but I did find other stuff. So now I want to get into the actual conspiracies that I found that are supposedly involved Racine, Wisconsin, the quote-unquote root of all evil.
Nice.
We're moving into part 3. This will be the biggest part of the episode, dear listener, where we actually talk about these conspiracies that I've started digging into. Part 3, knee deep in this. So there wasn't much else said on that early poll posts about Racine besides keep digging. So I did. Unsurprisingly, I didn't find much initially until I found a 5-year-old r/conspiracy post from a now deleted Reddit user that seems to have collected a bunch of the old vote posts together. So they collected several of these posts that were supposedly all about the conspiracies revolving around Racine into basically post-bin documents, right? Unfortunately, when they did that, it stripped all of the user handles, all of the dates, and any of the identifying information from the posts. So it's just basically anonymous posts strung together in a bulleted point list. So I can't really go back and see who was saying what at any given time.
So it could also just be a work of fiction. I mean, that's also a possibility.
Because I have no way to, like I said, go back and verify this by using the archive site, because the archive site closed this month.
Right.
So, using those posts, I collected them all into a Word document, which I will be posting in the Discord for everybody else to look at, right? Because the post-bin site that they used to collect all these documents and post together also wants to try and download a malware onto your computer. So I have about 15,000 different internet like virus scans and stuff like that, so it prevents it from getting on there.
Brave.
So I have
Dale.
Risked my computer's life to put it into a Word document so you can not have to do that for your computer.
That's what we do here.
Mm-hmm. That's the sacrifices we're willing to make for the post-reality.
Yeah.
So, from what you get out of these is that a lot of the posts seem to reference this Jim 777 and Wisconsin is corrupt. And I can only imagine that several of these collected posts are actually by them as well. And another poster who's referencing them. I'm not sure who the other poster is. I have an idea of who it might be. It's this Trust the Truth guy who I'll talk about later. But I have no way to verify who's actually making the posts because, like I said, the post-bin document doesn't include any of that handle information.
Right.
Continuing on. In either case, they seem to be the source of a lot of these conspiracies, And they also frame practically everything as a question, right? Which is the most tedious way to present information ever. I fucking hate it. It's so stupid.
What is going on in
Yeah.
Racine, Dale?
Shit's so fucking
Huh?
annoying. I hate it.
What is Paul Ryan doing in Racine, Dale?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about Paul Ryan in a minute, actually. And I should also note that towards the end of these collected posts, it stated that a team of assassins was sent to kill both Jim 777 and Wisconsin is Corrupt. But if you actually read what is written in the document, it seems that more that Jim 777 actually had just beef with mod staff and got kicked.
I feel like if a team of assassins was sent to kill literally anybody, like they would just kill them. Like
Yeah,
a team of assassins. I mean,
a team of them, because you need more than one.
Yeah, for Gem 777.
Mm-hmm. So Joshua, let's read these posts so you can kind of get the idea of what we're talking about here.
Why were the subjective rules not enforced upon corrupt moderators when they attacked at Gem 77 and others with lies, including that she was not dead, then that she was a CIA disinformation agent, then she lied about her assault and injuries, then she had no experience working with abuse victims without any evidence of their claims? Why do they continue to lie and claim that she was not murdered? Why was at Gem 777 banned by Vindicator, and what was her last submission?
So Vindicator is one of the mods, is what I've deduced.
Oh, I thought it was a transformer. Vindicator.
No, I think that that's who she was having beef with.
Why was Gem 777 banned by Vindicator?
Mm-hmm. So the best that I could piece together without any like the real direct evidence from going through all these like message boards to discuss this and stuff like that is that people think that Jim 777 was actually this Ginny Moore woman who went by the handle Task Force. She was a YouTuber who did a lot of like investigative journalism. I'm using that in extremely heavy quotes. She was a former police officer from California and then started reporting on child trafficking and abuse cases and stuff like that. She was like big in Pizzagate conspiracy and stuff like that, and claimed that everybody and their mother was related to these conspiracies, including Bill Clinton and everybody else like that.
Anybody else? Any other presidents? Did she name any other like current at the time or future, once again, presidents in that?
No? Didn't mention any
Weird.
current presidents.
Weird.
But she did die, right? She
Yeah.
died in Maryland from ostensibly a brain hemorrhage linked to a beating she got a year prior.
Oof.
So, but everybody thinks that that's actually like she was assassinated and stuff like that. And they've linked her to being this Jim 777 person. But I don't know how much of the validity there is to that. They say that if she was murdered, it was because her YouTube channel was going to feature about Pizzagate and all that other stuff. So
Imagine the things you have to say about somebody else online that they beat you so bad that you died a year later.
I don't think it has anything related to that. I think it might have happened when she was actually still a police officer.
Oh,
So I'm not sure exactly what the instances around her attack was. But like I said, I can't prove the veracity of any of these two people being linked together. But using my post document to start tugging on the thread that is this Racine rabbit hole, I wasn't sure what I would find because up until now, nobody's ever really discussed what is important about Racine other than the fact that it is. So for tonight's episode, dear listener, we're going to kind of start digging into these modern day conspiracies, and I'm going to show you the most interesting things that I found.
what if they're true?
And they're not. None of this is true. This is all extremely stupid. Spoilers.
What if it's not that stupid?
It is. It's all pretty stupid. So moving into our first conspiracy. You excited, Joshua?
I am.
Okay. Part 3.1, the Paul Ryan tangent. So as I mentioned when we first started, is that Paul Ryan was implicated in a lot of stuff, especially by Senate Anon, because he was House Speaker at the time. So he's also the former representative of Wisconsin's 1st Congressional District, which, believe it or not, includes Racine, Wisconsin. He served as Speaker of the House and was Mitt Romney's 2012 Republican vice presidential running mate.
Is Milwaukee the capital of Wisconsin?
No, it's Madison.
Madison.
Mm-hmm. But if you believe the conspiracies that revolve around Racine, Wisconsin, is that he has been implicated as the guy who knows fucking everything about everything. You would think that he was like the right-hand guy to the people that run the New World Order. That's how often they talk about him.
Right.
But the one thing they reference the most about him is the meeting on the tarmac. Do you remember what the meeting on the tarmac was, Joshua?
Remind me.
Okay. So, for those who don't remember, towards the end of the 2016 election cycle, Bill Clinton and former Attorney General Loretta Lynch met on the tarmac of the Phoenix airport, right? This was when Hillary Clinton was under investigation for all her emails. Some people think that it was basically Bill Clinton kind of put the screws to Lynch to like let it go so she could still run for president and all that other stuff, right? Some people also think that this was the meeting stages for the moving forward with like a lot of New World Order stuff and like covering up of like Pizzagate nonsense and stuff. So
yeah.
However, according to news stories published on wazanews.tk and ourlandofthefree.com, it sounds like incredibly reputable sources.
Yeah, super credible. The real news, unlike the fake news media.
Mm-hmm. Is that Paul Ryan was on the plane for Loretta Lynch and met with Bill Clinton too on the tarmac. There's absolutely no evidence that this ever happened. No one has ever like indicated that this ever happened. But for whatever reason, these people have just kind of made this up, and then everybody just kind of ran with it.
So Paul Ryan was one of the big Tea Party guys, right? He came in the big Tea Party wave, and he was very anti-Obama. That is kind of the big anti-Obama. Paul Ryan, Rand Paul, Bachman, these people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, but in these vote posts, it seems to indicate that this meeting was actually about the NWO's nonsense and Agenda 2030, and that not only that, but the pilot was murdered and the internet was scrubbed of all the truth revolving around Paul Ryan and the meeting on the tarmac.
Well, a good thing ourlandofthefree.com was able to preserve it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, also considering that I was able to spend about 5 minutes looking at this and Googling and DuckDuckGoing it and find all this information, I'm going to go say that the internet was not in fact scrubbed of anything related to this. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one 5 Pinocchios.
No, I mean, maybe you're just really good at the internet.
I am very good at the internet, but I think that it's also made up.
Yeah.
This all stems to connect Paul Ryan to the Racine stuff, which is supposedly all related to this meeting on the tarmac, which we'll get into in a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But I actually don't want to talk about Paul Ryan anymore because he's boring and stupid. What I actually want to talk about is Frank Lloyd Wright.
Frank Lloyd Wright.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a Frank Lloyd Wright house in Tallahassee, right? You ever go to it?
No, but there's thousands of them.
I've never gone to it either. Well, yeah, not thousands in Tallahassee.
Okay, cool.
Just one.
He actually did a bunch of houses in Florida. I learned quite a lot about old Frankie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, part 3.2, Frank Lloyd not quite right. You like that?
I like it.
Mm-hmm. So I feel it's fair to say that old Frankie is someone who requires minimal introduction. Famed architect, some may say the GOAT of architecture. He worked from the late 19th century to the early 20th century. The guy was actually born in like 1860. So he was like really fucking old when he died.
Yeah.
He would revolutionize architecture, and his biggest style that he would develop was his organic style, blending both man-made and natural features, right? Having like the waterfall house, having like trees and other shit growing into the house and stuff like that. He was like big on that.
Right.
Originally from Richland Center, Wisconsin, he designed over 1,000 buildings, most of which are in the Midwest, and 4 of which are in Racine. This includes the Johnson Wax Headquarters and Research Tower. The S.E. Johnson headquarters that we had mentioned and discussed the tour about. That's what he designed. The CEO of S.E. Johnson at the time that these 2 buildings were open said that it comprised 50% of the company's net worth because they cost so much to build. And they're actually pretty ugly. I'm not gonna lie, they're pretty boring looking. The inside is probably the more interesting part with
The inside is pretty cool. Yeah.
like flowing columns and stuff like that.
Outside's pretty basic.
Mm-hmm. The research tower has the notable claim of being one of only 2 vertically inclined buildings that he built. So it's a 19-story tower, which is pretty tall for the time. And it was
As a whole, like seeing the entire campus from above, like I see this aerial photo, is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
From ground level, it's not.
Mm-hmm. So that's basically his connection to Racine, is building these buildings. But his buildings sucked ass. Cutting through all the reverence for the guy, we find that they're all extremely leaky and very difficult to maintain, right? Because of the way that he built them and the materials he used. Because he liked to use naturally derived materials from the location. So like he'd make like bricks out of the dirt that was there and stuff like that. But this led to actually pretty poor architectural structures. They look cool, but they didn't really sit well as houses. And then using this Bob Vila link from bobvila.com.
Arriving in a downpour, Johnson found that it was raining indoors too. The floor was dotted with containers strategically positioned so as to catch the drops. Mrs. Lloyd Jones dryly observed, "This is what happens when you leave a work of art out in the rain." The prospective client nonetheless commissioned the house. So said another Johnson. The irreverent Philip Johnson once told the audience at Yale that he regarded Wright's iconic Falling Water as a, quote, pioneer work. In a typically witty aside, Johnson observed that it was a, quote, 17-bucket house. He then had a good grace to admit that his own glass house was a 6-bucket house, a rather unusual rating system.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
So, leaky houses, not all that great structurally. Cool looking, though.
No.
Yeah. Some might argue that it was because he was ahead of his time and the materials available to him didn't meet his vision. But he also lived fucking flat roof houses, and every flat roof house you've ever seen leaks, so.
Yeah, true.
But Dale, you maybe ask, what the fuck does this have to do with anything? And the answer is that the merits of Wright architecture are not here what we're here to discuss. It is the cult he was a part of. Did you know that he was part of a cult?
No. Frank Lloyd Wright was in a cult?
Yep.
That makes sense for the time period. Everybody was in a cult, basically.
Mm-hmm. Part 3.3, The Wife and the Cult. So going back to my source document, it has this to say.
What was Frank Lloyd Wright creating, and what happened at Taliesin? What was Frank Lloyd Wright's NXIVM, and how does it relate to a global eugenics and the real agenda?
NXIVM in the NXIVM cult sense,
Yes,
guys.
it is the NXIVM cult sense. So in 2006, Roger Fedland co-wrote a book about Frank Lloyd Wright with architect Howard Zellman. And it was titled The Fellowship, The Untold Story of Frank Lloyd Wright and the Taliesin Fellowship. And basically, the whole thing is a giant expose on the absolute batshit cult that his wife was running out of his architectural training center. So I found this article from The Independent, the Santa Barbara Independent.
Santa Barbara is independent, not The Independent.
Yeah, Santa Barbara's
Different.
Independent. That kind of goes over the crux of the book. I didn't get the book. I've only looked at articles about the book, so whatever.
Yeah.
Shut up, listener.
I mean, we can't have every fucking book, guys.
Yeah. So, reading from the article, we have this here.
Taliesin was created to be an experimental center for both architecture and living. Staffed by young, eager, and mostly male architects who wanted to learn from the master, it quickly evolved into a, quote, cult of genius, a place where Olga Ivana, Wright's third wife, could promote the teaching of Georgy Gurdjieff. This bald, mustached, charismatic Russian trickster/guru claimed his eyes could not only penetrate a man's psyche, but also bring a woman to orgasm from across the room. For the next 30 years, Taliesin became a place where Wright would not only get free in-house labor, but his wife would be able to have total sway over the mental, physical, and sexual lives of the architect's devoted followers. I'm trying to be Gurdjieff.
Are you? Because we're going to talk about him in a second. So basically the whole crux is that Lloyd's third wife was like a devout follower of this guy, right? And she saw
Yeah.
this as an opportunity to basically build a cult for herself. So I thought that this was pretty
So
cool.
was she trying to be Gurdjieff?
No, she was trying to just run this cult because she thought it was fun. So this is what she looks like. This is Olgavana. Lloyd benefited from it, but he just basically let her run ramshot over all these guys and had all kinds of fun and stuff like that. So from her Wikipedia article, right?
According to architectural writer Walt Lockley, the foundation and the fellowship would not exist in any form if Wright had not gone to the ballet with a friend one Sunday afternoon in 1924 Chicago and sat near the dark-haired Montenegrin dancer.
Then they would go, and then in 1932, the two would initiate the Taliesin Fellowship, ostensibly an architectural apprentice program, right?
So Taliesin is like the predecessor to Merlin, or no? It's in the Pendragon cycle. I think it may be the ancestor of Uther Pendragon,
Mm-hmm.
the father of King Arthur, right? Something like that.
You know more than me. So basically, she would start using Gurdjieff's teachings to start basically manipulating all these guys, and then turning it into like a sex cult and stuff like that at some point. And then it just kind of went off the rails after that. But Gurdjieff, as apparently you already are aware, is a self-proclaimed mystic and soothsayer and all that other stuff. And boy,
Yeah.
howdy do I love this guy's fucking look.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if I was going to be a self-proclaimed mystic and spiritual teacher, this is this is what you got to do. I mean,
Well,
he's got the whole thing.
if you're going to be a self-proclaimed mystic and spiritual teacher or any of these things, you have to first start with a mustache, you know?
Mhm. And he's got a pretty good one.
He's got a good one.
He's got like the whole like elf pointy ear thing, the bald, the piercing eyes. He's got the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Hey, could you imagine this guy just looking at this, who thinks he can pierce a man's psyche with his eyes, and he's just staring at you from across the room, and you're just like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like,
fuck is
and you
his
get up and
problem?
walk away, and he's like, ha, hey, got another one.
Yeah, so apparently he would be like the one to influence her and her way of handling the cult and stuff like that. So I found that actually all pretty interesting. You can read more about him and the cult at your leisure, dear listener, because we're going to move on from this. So this is one of the first things that I found was like, oh, cool. There may actually be stuff behind all this, because I didn't know anything about the Fellowship of Taliesin or Gurdjieff or Lloyd's wife and stuff like that, right? So I was like, okay, cool. If we're going to get down a rabbit hole, we got some cool stuff happening. Maybe we can get to some like cooler things, right? The tarmac
Right.
meeting was kind of a bust, but if this is the direction we're going to go in, then that would be cool. So the Racine document that we're referencing claims that the Taliesin Fellowship was actually the model for Nexium, and that, of course, everything has to relate back to Racine, so Nexium also has to relate back to Racine.
Keith Raniere is from Racine.
No, it's dumber than
No?
that. And this is our downward spiral into stupid shit, right? That was basically the high point for this whole episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aunt Beru from the prequel series is from Racine. You know, she was a Nexium person, right?
Mm-hmm. But
Did you
that's
watch the documentary, The Nexium Thing?
I did, but that's also not what it is.
Oh.
So part 3.4, Nexium was a cult, not a heart medication. The whole crux of Nexium was basically Keith Raniere started a quote-unquote self-help cult that multiple people were in, especially like Allison Mack from like Smallville and other people with influence. And they had like this other like subgroup that was just women that he would brand and with his like initials and stuff like that.
You know what's crazy? I never could find anything on this. I did a lot of searching. But in the Nexium documentary, there is a scene where I swear to God, and I noticed this because people for like when this was on, everybody was telling me I looked like Jon Snow. The guy that played Jon Snow is in one of the meetings. There's like one scene in the documentary where that guy, and you know, it could be that like you're an actor and another actor's like, hey, come to this meeting. So it could be nothing, but there's a scene where he's in it.
So that's kind of like the background of Nexium. of course, we have to try and tie this to Racine, right? Because everything ties back to Racine because, quote unquote, it's the root of all evil. Now, going back to the document, it has these 2 posts in there about NXIVM.
Why was the NXIVM doctor linked to Racine? Why did the NXIVM doctor practice in 2 locations, New York and Racine, Wisconsin?
He might have had 2 homes. I mean, doctors are very busy and they are always working.
Yeah, they're always working. Branding young women. So Danielle Roberts would eventually go and lose her medical license, and she was one of the few people that were in the inner circle group that was part of the brandings, and she was the one that was actually doing it ostensibly.
She was the main one, right? Like the one that was running the branding part?
Yep. But that was in New York, right? So this whole thing about her practicing Racine, I can't find any actual documentation on that, right? There's another doctor that's also named Danielle Roberts, who's also a DO in Wisconsin, but it's not in Racine. It's on the other side of Milwaukee near Green Bay, right? Ostensibly, that's what people are thinking because they're using it as for like medical records and all this other stuff. I can't find any information that these 2 people are actually the same person. And I can't find any...
It's a common misconception that there are multiple people with the same name.
Mm-hmm.
Actually.
Yeah, so that's where I think that this whole connection to Racine is coming from. Because supposedly Danielle Roberts practiced in both New York and Racine, but like I said, I can't find any of this. And I found basically information about everything else and where people are using their conspiracy crayon to connect the dots, but I can't find anything about this. The only thing that I could find is that there's another person that has the same name who practices in Wisconsin. So there was also the additional mention of jester events that came up with NXIVM and Talisman when I was doing research into like what's the story with Racine. Like I said, Wright's connection to Racine is just the Johnson building, right? He had 2 other structures besides what he built on the S.C. Johnson campus. Both of them were like houses, so it doesn't really connect. And the Talisman fellowship was in Wisconsin, but it wasn't anywhere near Racine. So I did find this other mention of what are called jester events, and apparently this came from when I was looking at the Great Awakening.win, not necessarily within my vote posts, but apparently these jester events is where a lot of the human trafficking is related to. But you got to remember, all of this shit is under the umbrella of Pizzagate because that's where all of this started from.
Right.
I did find, actually, though, one thing about human trafficking that related to the Royal Order of Jesters. Do you know what that is, Joshua?
I can speculate. It's like the Order of Jesters that have a like where you have like a apprentice jesters, and it goes all the way back to like
yeah,
the 14th century, and it's like each jester like smacks like a child with a rubber chicken, and that's how you name a new jester.
Mm-hmm. No, it's
like
not.
That. No,
it's not. No. Basically, it's a comedy degree of Freemasonry.
Oh man, that's what we need to get into. We need to get like, if me and you like get honorary Freemasonic membership for being like our podcast, and we're inherently funny, we get to be Royal Order of Jesters, unless it's like pedophilic or something. We won't do
that. They're trafficking humans. So one of the thing about being a part of the Royal Order of Jesters is that it's invite only. It's mostly related a lot more to Shriners than Freemasons directly. And local courts are limited to 13 initiates yearly, right? And it's all by invitation.
Okay.
And you must be part of the Shriners or also a Master Mason in a Masonic Lodge. So there was, though, the prostitution scandal in 2008 where former public officials from Western New York, including State Supreme Court Justice Ronald H. Tills, and 2 retired police officers, a law clerk, were all convicted of human trafficking. So there's this Medium article that I'll post with the notes that kind of goes over it too. And and it's uncovering a police-driven international sex trafficking ring that actually happened is the subtitle of the article. So this is what I feel that they're tugging on when they were talking about jester events, because, two things that have jester obviously are connected.
Yeah.
I didn't find anything specifically how this relates to Racine, so this is all just more like kind of tangent and not really well connected conspiracy crayon drawing. So that's kind of all I wanted to talk about next to him. So far, right, is just to recap.
Yeah, give us a recap.
Paul Ryan and this tarmac meeting he wasn't at. Frank Lloyd Wright's cult, which wasn't about Racine or in Racine.
It was mostly about his wife
Yeah.
getting her sash snatched.
Yeah. The Nexium cult, because there's apparently two people named the same name that may be both DOs, right? This Royal Order of Jesters, which also, again, has nothing to do with Racine or Jester events, is what this claims. But wait, there's more, Joshua. And this is actually where we can get stuff that's actually concretely related to Racine as opposed to all these tangential nonsense, right? So we're going to get into the next conspiracy that we're going to unwind here. Part 3.5, 15-minute smart cities of the New World Order. You excited to talk about smart cities?
Oh, man. Yeah, I love smart cities. 15-minute cities.
Yeah, I think that we've both...
It's a way forward, Big fan. I wish I could ride my bike from my house to my job and not worry about dying.
Mm-hmm. You can't. You there's no bike lanes.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
I live in the free state of FL.
So smart cities, for you, dear listener, are basically using technology and various monitoring and traffic controlling to help people live a little bit safer in their city and reduce carbon footprints and increase sustainability of their local environment, right? So it's using a lot of like internet connectivity, solar panels, buses that have on-demand like routing and stuff like that. So things that you would think were like, doesn't sound bad. We should have more sustainable
Let me tell you something,
cities.
as an aside, real quick. When I was going to my trade school for electronics that I did in I don't know, 2008 or something, there was a thing I read about that this engineering lab had developed a solar panel that was a road panel,
Mm-hmm.
and it was modular. So I don't know, just say it was I don't know, 10 foot wide by 10 foot long. It was like these little modular pieces and you just lay them down. They were all solar paneled. They all interconnected and they all had lighting. So you could indicate lanes, lane changers, important road information on the road. One of the coolest things I've ever read about. I've actually been thinking about this again because that was that was 17 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
18 years ago, And I've been thinking about how, anybody who's ever played a city builder, like SimCity, or even a phone one like Clash of Clans or something, knows that after so many cycles in the game, you're going to have to invest money into different roads, different paths, different walls, stuff like this, and how we're still just literally using boiled tar and bits of rock for our roads,
You mean you don't enjoy using asphalt and breathing in all those fumes?
Not particularly, man. I mean, it's just a cool thing. Maybe this one thing from 18 years ago wasn't feasible at the time, but how cool would it be, man? How fucking cool would it be?
No, fuck you. We're gonna
if we were future
undo
focused.
all that stuff. We're not future focused. We're now focused, and now focused
Now
sucks.
we're past focused. Now we're not even now focused anymore.
Mm-hmm. So that's smart cities. 15-minute cities take that basically a step further, where everything that you would need to have is within 15 minutes of walking or biking distance. So your grocery stores are local, your entertainment's local, your housing's local, you work within your 15-minute cities and stuff like that. But obviously we can't have any of this nice things because it's all giant controls conspiracies, right?
Well, also they, and this is another side, we've talked about this with the abundance doctrine, that these plans, they do cut out large portions of our population, and they don't include generally, when you look into them, places for working class people to live, those places tend to be outside. That's why, like, so a part of it is Amazon warehouses being in the outskirts, like the kind of the outer reaches. And that's where like your affordable housing is, because the Amazon employees don't really need to live in the city. They just have to live within walking distance and with whatever the bare minimum of, survivability they need of, within walking distance of their Amazon job. That is part of it too. Like there is definitely, we have to overcome this Morlock and Eloy hump that we kind of run into with every one of these. And all that is you have to value every human life equally. It's not even that hard of a hump. We just have to be like, oh, okay, well, we're all actually equal,
No. We are podcasters. We're better than you. We've already discussed that.
Well, we are creators. We're bringing you good information like this stuff about Racine in Wisconsin, where we've talked in circles and really told you nothing of substance.
Yeah. But as you mentioned, that 15 minutes of smart cities are bad. We don't like that stuff. They're bad things that the globalists are using to create techno prisons and globally administered control grids.
You know what else can be a 15-minute city?
What?
You know what else can be a 15-minute city? FEMA camps.
Yeah. Alligator Alcatraz. Yeah, it could be 15-minute city living in Everglades.
You can live for 15 minutes.
Because all this shit, all this sustainability, all this like environmentalism, yada, 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 it's all part of Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030. So under the guise of sustainability, it's actually where the UN comes in and administers a global control grid, and everybody has to live in giant open-air prisons. You're going to have permits to get to the next 15-minute city, yada, 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 right?
Yeah.
Things I found about Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030 while I was doing my research include, but are not limited to, forced depopulation, climate lockdowns, intentionally setting fires in California, forcing people to eat bugs, banning all forms of travel, and enforcing 15-minute cities, which are basically giant surveillance states.
Yeah. The bug thing really bothers people. Like, I don't want to eat bugs either. Like, but you could be vegan. Like, I was vegan for a long time, and I'm kind of halfway there. Yeah, I'm like not really vegan, but I'm kind of eating more vegan stuff again. I feel great. You can, like, soy is a great protein, actually. Am I soy? Maybe.
Yeah, you're getting all those
actually, I
plant
eat a lot of
estrogens.
nuts now. I'm eating a lot of nuts. Talking about estrogens? Nuh-uh. I'm eating a lot of nuts. Just filling my mouth. I get nuts every day for lunch now.
You want to keep going with this bit? Or are you gonna say it a couple more times?
I ate a bunch of nuts here a little bit ago.
Yeah, are they salty nuts?
No, they're raw nuts. Just raw walnuts and pecans.
You don't even get the salted, like, roasted cashews and stuff?
No, I'm doing this for the macros, man. I'm not doing to get a bunch of salt. I'm getting healthy proteins and fats.
The macros. God damn it.
Yeah.
You're going to fucking become like the yoga version of a gym bro. Like,
I'm a yoga teacher, dog. Like, what do you want?
Completely incapable of talking to a person in a normal sentence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, namaste.
God damn it. This might be what drives the podcast divorce.
Actually, it might drive us to popularity.
Yeah.
People will be like, man, I like the way Josh just started saying namaste all the time.
Well, QAnon did infiltrate all those like yoga and like crunchy mom groups, so we're already halfway there. I'm talking about Pizzagate stuff, so how does this all relate to Racine, right? And this is actually one of the first things that actually could be like directly tied to Racine, unlike all this like tangential nonsense we've been talking about up until this point, right?
Uh-huh.
So this post here is kind of like the crux of why we would be talking about smart cities.
Why is Racine the global model for Agenda 21 and 2030? sustainable development, smart cities, resilient communities, the World Core curriculum, labor and prison labor reform, and community policing.
Yeah. Why is Racine like the model for all of these things that are ostensibly pretty decent and good?
Yeah. Well, labor and prison labor reform, I think it's probably got a core of really bad stuff in it. I
I'm
don't
sure
think
that it
it's
does.
good. Yeah. Community policing. I like the idea of community policing,
Mhm.
right? I'm intelligent and empathetic. You're intelligent and empathetic. A lot of people I know and associate with are intelligent and empathetic, but I also know a lot of people who are not very intelligent or empathetic. And
Mhm.
so I don't want to like speak ill of them, but community policing breaks down quickly in that regard. I'm all about community policing, but we got to do something about the stupids. You know.
Yeah, well, I already talked about that. Forced depopulation, Joshua.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah.
They're taking care of that. There's several things about Racine that actually link directly to this, right? Is that Racine is actually one of the model cities for being a smart city.
Yeah.
Back in a couple of years ago in 2019, they were actually doing a big push by then Mayor Corey Mason. He might still be mayor. I don't know for sure. It was one of his big things. He's trying to lay the groundwork for Racine becoming a smart city. They wanted to do this whole industrial, overhaul. And, I don't see what the problem here is with this, right? Because ostensibly this is all reasonably good things.
It depends on who drives it. Like all this, it depends on who the driver is, right? Like if Amazon is the driver of it, it's not a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's the big crux here. Like a lot of this stuff, it's like one of these things that has it sounds really good, but a lot of this is like driven by like technocrats, right?
So a lot of the stuff in Racine and all this stuff is actually driven by the Foxconn deal, but we'll get into that.
Right. Well, Foxconn is probably not the smart city I want to live in, to be honest. Like, I don't want my smart city to have like safety nets on every building to keep me from like unaliving myself because I hate it there.
Racine was actually the first city to get 5G when U.S. Cellular's network got launched. Did you know that? That's actually fairly interesting too. And that was one of the big cruxes to the whole smart city thing, is that they're going to use the 5G and all that other stuff, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
5G obviously will also activate your COVID vaccine and make you a zombie,
Yep.
blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So that's where all of this smart city and like sustainability and all this other jazz linking to Agenda 2030 and stuff, because that's one of the biggest portions of this conspiracy, is that it's all related to the global control network and stuff like that.
Globalists.
It's all globalists. And then the city of Racine also has a big push for community policing with their cop house program, which is basically, instead of centralized police departments and stuff like that, they actually just have houses where the cops will live and stuff like that.
Yeah, unmarked police departments. Instead of unmarked police cars, it's just unmarked police departments. Cool.
Mhm.
That's not what I would call community policing, by the way.
That's what they call it.
Often, yeah, I wouldn't call that community policing. Community policing, to me, starts with community. It's kind of community forward,
Mm-hmm. So that's basically where that's all coming from, right? So this is actually the first thing where you can actually kind of draw like a straight line to where these could be connected. But whatever, I don't care. That's fine. Whatever. Stupid shit.
Yeah. I mean, do we get smart cities without it being done by a corporation? I don't think we do.
Mm-mm. No, you don't get any of this shit without...
Can you still have communes? If in a world with smart cities, can you still have communes? I guess that's my question.
Unless you're a famous architect, you can still have a commune.
Yeah. Or a famous podcaster and yoga teacher.
Mm-hmm. I'm not joining your commune, Josh. I'm sorry. I've already signed away a lot of my money to the Institute for Human Potential Mastery. I don't have the bandwidth to be in 2 self-help groups.
Well, we'll see, man. We'll see when things start going down and they start turning your city into a smart city.
Yeah. they won't because my city sucks. They're just too busy tearing up every road that they could find.
Yeah, they're just tearing them up.
Yeah, you cannot actually...
Don't need this one.
Right now, it takes you like twice as long to get east-west because every road in downtown has been ripped up.
Yeah.
It's really fucking annoying.
It's because they put all those Black Lives Matters murals on them, and they're like, get them out of here.
No, they're just ripping them up. Because there's like 3 different initiatives going on right now where you have like the Department of Transportation, the city, and the county have all decided they're going to rip up roads all at the same time. And nobody seems to have coordinated which roads are getting ripped up. And it's like a big fucking headache.
Nice.
So anyways, but this isn't the forum for that. I mean, it could be, but it's not.
No. We're not a city that Dale lives in podcast.
No, it's stupid. However, the New World Order and its proponents of Agenda 2030 are not the only secretive group implicated in the Racine rabbit hole.
Okay.
And we have part 3.6. What the fuck is the Knights of Pythias? Are you aware of what this little group is?
I've heard of Knights of Pythias, but I'm not clear on what they are.
Okay. So, we are going to go to their website real quick, and we're going to just read directly off of there. If we were going to join a fraternal order, I think that this is going to be the one for us, Joshua. Just saying.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. These guys seem actually pretty cool. Their website sucks ass and takes forever to load, though.
Yeah, it's super slow.
Yeah. So, welcome to the Order of Knights of Pythias. So, I'm going to let you just read here. This is right on their splash page that eventually loads after 15 minutes.
Thank you for visiting the website of the Knights of Pythias. The Order of Knights of Pythias, a great international non-sectarian fraternity founded in Washington, D.C. by Justus H. Rathbone. That is not Justus, it is Justus.
Mm-hmm.
In 1864, became the first fraternal organization to receive a charter under an act of the Congress of the United States after careful investigation by then-President Abraham Lincoln.
Ostensibly, they were there to help rebuild after the Civil War. They have all kinds of fun memberships and everything else like that. There's lodges all over the place, and all you have to do is you can just like apply online, so that's fun.
Oh, yeah?
Uh-huh.
None of this says what they're into. The real common thread throughout the Knights of Pythias involves our commitment to helping people. When asked what we do, we simply answer, we volunteer, we help people. This common thread shows itself in everything we do. If someone approaches a Pythian and asks what we do, a Pythian simply lists what our order and the Pythian's home lodge do and asks them if they want to help volunteer. The Supreme Chancellor's message outlines our annual program and reflects that imperative yearly. But what do they volunteer for? Like, they just volunteer.
Their big thing is that it's all about friendship, charity, and benevolence. That's their 3 core tenets, right? And it's even in their logo, the FCB, right? Basically, It's just kind of like a volunteering organization. They go into communities and just help out and stuff like that. They'll come up with like charitable drives and all that other stuff. So,
yeah, busybodies. What it sounds like to me.
Yeah, busybodies.
Sounds like a bunch of fucking busybodies. Hey, we're here to be friends and volunteer.
Mm-hmm. So the Pythians actually get their name from the story of Damon and Pythias, and it was the Greek parable about the Pythagoreans' ideal of friendship, right? Pythias is accused of and charged with plotting against the tyrannical Dionysus I of Syracuse. Pythias is sentenced to death, but requests Dionysus to first allow him to settle his affairs. Dionysus agrees, and on the condition that Pythias' friend Damon be held hostage in his stead, should he not return, right? And then he will be executed.
Uh-huh.
Pythias returns. Dionysus, amazed by the love for his friend, freed them both, right? So that's basically
beautiful. That's me and you, man.
That is us. I was thinking about that.
That's
We're
us.
definitely these 2 guys.
We're Damon and Pythias.
But that's basically where their like ideals stem from. It's basically just being good friends to your buddies and like helping out the community. That's what they do.
Yeah.
They were first chartered by Congress, so they do have a strong tie to federal government. So a lot of people in government will actually be...
Which means they're definitely good.
Yeah. Noted members include President William McKinley and Warren G. Harding and Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Yeah.
But then you also have Nelson Rockefeller and Herbert
Yeah.
Humphrey were also members, as well as several Supreme Court justices and Louis Armstrong.
And I think to myself, what could I volunteer?
One of
It's
the
good.
fun things is that when trying to see what the controversies around these guys were, there's actually not too many, surprisingly. But one of them was right after their founding in 1868, when Justus H. Rathbone decided that he wanted to make like an even more special cool order to join. And that was he established the Supreme Pythian Knighthood, the SPK.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, what the fuck, dude? We just joined this other thing. Don't do this. And then it actually caused like a big schism in the organization. And everybody told him to get bent. And then the Supreme Lodge of the Knights of Pythias told all the other like lodges to just ignore that shit. And then like, if you did join the SPK, that you would get kicked out of the charter.
Well, that's the one I want to join.
Mm-hmm.
I want to join. We should join the SPK because I want to be a knight. The other one, it's cool and all, but
They're all knights. It's just like one is a
Knights
higher
of
level.
Pythias. I want to be a supreme knight.
Yeah, well, that one doesn't exist because everybody told him to like shut the fuck up with that stuff.
It probably does.
This thing, I did find also this one. So like the Catholic Church hates these guys because they are non-denominational and also very a-religious for the most part, and they do bring in a lot of like the Greek and Roman stuff with their foundings and stuff. So I did find this article about a Texas bishop basically had this to say about the order itself.
In regard to the Knights of Pythias in particular, I have to say that their initiation is made of religious ceremony and a mixture of Christian and pagan religions together. Here the Archbishop describes what is said to be and the manner in which it is taken and continues. Pythias is styled their honored and revered saint. Here is an imitation of Catholicity, either in jest or in earnest. Their Protestants make no profession of patron saints, and this man whom they claim for a patron saint, as far as we know, was a pagan and an idolater. I do not suppose this is intended to be irreverent, but to a Catholic mind, this medley of the sacred and profane is painfully irreligious. Let me tell you something about the Catholic Church, Dale.
You could throw down on this.
It is
Okay.
just an extension of the Roman Empire.
Mhm.
The head of the Catholic Church is called the Pontiff, which is a Roman office. So their entire foundation is in paganism. So I don't think this guy even knows what the fuck he's talking about.
No, I just thought that was fun. I just like the term painfully irreligious, so I thought that it would be fun.
Painfully irreligious. I mean, you know.
So as far as groups go, I still haven't really seen anything particularly wrong with them. I mean, outside of like their ties to a lot of governmental officials. But I mean, as far as governmental official groups go, this one doesn't seem so bad. And it seems kind of like a fun group to be. I mean, I can go volunteer.
That's how you're gonna get tricked into joining them.
Yeah, I'll get tricked. I don't fucking care.
I'm not. I will join this dirty group. Make my own.
So how does this all connect to Racine, right? One of the things is that there was a rather active chapter that mentions dating back to 1910. I did find one eBay listing for a sword from the Racine chapter that was used in several of their like parades and stuff like that. So there you go. There was also a claim from one Reddit post on arc/conspiracy that H.F. Johnson Jr., one of the former chairmen of S.E. Johnson, was also a member, but I can't find anything to fucking corroborate that, right? I couldn't find a single validatable source of that information. So take that with a grain of salt, listener. Okay, but what is the conspiracy here? Okay, so these guys exist. They're mostly like, seems to be just a volunteering organization, yada, 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 right?
Yeah.
So the conspiracy here seems to involve the people that are quote-unquote members and or associates with the Knights of Pythias, including but not limited to Anthony Weiner, the Boy Scouts, NASA, Seth Rich, Jeffrey Epstein, the OTO, the FLDS, are all somehow in some form or fashion related to this like organization. So I don't know how all these things are connected. I didn't bother researching any of this because at this point I was just like, oh my God, this is also stupid.
Well, this is just a list of things that they like to villainize. They don't know fuck all about the OTO.
Yeah.
So, just going to say that.
I mean, all these organizations and people have had some sort of like thing related to them. I mean, like Anthony Weiner, disgraced, whatever the fuck he was. I can't even remember at this point. Boy Scouts, they went bankrupt. They had all those kind of like
Scandals.
And you have to remember, and I need to stress this immensely, is that this is all Pizzagate nonsense, right?
Yeah.
So anything that could be any shape or form related to like any of the Pizzagate nonsense is going to be wrapped up in this. And that's why this is a modern day conspiracy, because this is all started from like the last...
NASA? We've already established that NASA stands for not actually studying anything. So they might be,
I mean, from our last episode even, like we determined that NASA, I mean, they're part of the New World Order. They're going to do Project Bluebeam. So like even then, we're still fucking tying it all back to fucking Serge Monast.
Yep.
Seth Rich, obviously, because he was a member, supposedly got murdered for all his nonsense. But the document also, like all these posts also say that Seth Rich and Jeffrey Epstein are actually still alive. So who the fuck knows, right?
Right.
And then you have the OTO in there for reasons and
scary reasons. They're scary.
There is a large like Mormon community in this part of Wisconsin. So that's the reason that the FLDS got dragged into it.
Oh, yeah. Well, also Christian conspiracies always love to loop LDS into it.
Mm-hmm. So you can see using the conspiracy crayon to connect these quote unquote like undesirable people and people with conspiracies associated with them to the fact that there was a chapter in Racine. This, of course, makes Racine the root of all evil. And since this is all just Pizzagate's stupidity, that's how everything is connected to this. Right?
Right.
That's it. That's the conspiracy here. But we're not done yet, right? Those are the main ones. Those are the main conspiracies that get talked about with regard to Racine. And as you can see, that it's a lot of flash but no substance. So really this comes down to, once again, idea laundering, right? A few people have come up with this is where everything connects. We've used the crayon to connect all these dots. And now, obviously, this is where all the shit goes down. Right, Joshua? Just like the same thing where I discussed that we laundered all those Project Bluebeam ideas, all of this stuff has been laundered into current day conspiracy. And you see this now taking root in a lot of the QAnon stuff. Even though they have an issue with Q, which I'll get into in our final bit here. Part 3.7, final roundup of other stupid shit.
Nice. So
the first one.
Okay.
Beforeitsnews.com, another reputable news site, right?
Yep.
Racine, Wisconsin. Maybe a truth no one can handle. And why did the Cali doctors expose the very few deaths keep mentioning Wisconsin, right? I don't need to read this because you can obviously get the gist of it from the title. Racine is the center of election fraud, right? So a lot of conspiracies point to the stolen election and Biden getting elected, and they all seem to come down to vote tampering in Racine, Wisconsin, even though none of that was found to be, accurate and stuff, because we always have to relitigate the 2020 election.
We just have to keep relitigating it over and over. You can't have lost. People can't have died in like super, super high numbers because you didn't want to wear a mask,
Mm-hmm. That 70s show I-94 project conspiracy. This one is probably the stupidest one of the group. So there's multiple things about this. So the first is that there's the post that claimed that the show, that 70s show, was based in Racine when it was actually located in the fictional Point Place, Wisconsin. So we're already like off the rails on this. The other thing is that apparently there's some connection between the I-94 project and that 70s show. I can't figure out what it is. I can't find a single thing that connects these two things together. The only thing that I can guess, right, is because that 70s show had Danny Masterson on it, and who was a Scientologist and who was convicted of sexually assaulting 2 women also in Scientology, because the document that I have has this to say.
What fake religion dominated the cast members, and why did Chris Kutcher cover for Danny, wink at John McCain, and back out of the I-94 project when it was exposed as linked with satanic pedophiles?
Is this like an interstate project? What is I-94?
It's an interstate project.
Okay.
So I cannot figure out what the connection here is. I also like the fact that they called Ashton Kutcher Chris Kutcher, for his first name is actually Chris. Because it took me a minute to like, who are they talking about?
Yeah.
But Ashton is actually his middle name. I didn't know that until now.
Yeah. You know, and it's important to call people by their real names because they use oftentimes their fake names to hide their satanic leanings.
Mm-hmm. The best that I could figure, and this is purely pulled out of my ass, is that somehow, some form or fashion, somebody decided that I-94 is like a corridor for human trafficking or some nonsense like that. But I don't know. And quite frankly, I don't really care. So moving on.
Yeah.
You'll like this one. Racine is where Jesus is coming back.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. So the
Perosia?
Basically, the second coming of Christ is also a central theme to all of these conspiracy communities, particularly with the Great Awakening and QAnon movements.
Yeah.
So according to this narrative, the second coming of Christ starts with the apocalyptic events, and they all claim that they're going to start in Racine, Wisconsin, because they are the root of the global agenda. So obviously, because we're going to do smart cities and 15-minute cities, everybody's going to have to get the mark of the beast. There's going to be quantum AI. We're manipulating elections and all that other stuff. And Racine is going to be where we're going to have the hub of controlling institutions, including the Brookings Institute, the World's Core Curriculum, which gave us Common Core and all that other stuff. All of the stuff about like Jesus and the second coming all seems to stem from this one guy, Trust the Truth, who I think also posted a lot of these things that I've been reading from, but I can't prove that one way or the other. He posted on Vote a lot before it got shut down, and then moved to the QAnon forum, specifically the Great Awakening forum, and kept continuing to spout all this Racine nonsense there, right?
Right. Why? I mean, I guess a lot of things, it's hard to realize really that how much stuff actually does take place in the Midwest. Like, it is where a lot of like corporations have their headquarters, right? The Midwest has actually got a lot of stuff in it, even though it seems just empty from where I'm sitting here in Florida.
Yeah. There is a lot of stuff going on, but the problem is that a lot of this stuff that's going on isn't really connected together by any like real meat. You know what I mean? It's all loose.
Connected by the Knights of Pythias.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. The other thing is that the people that believe the Racine stuff also have a big problem with QAnon, because they say that the Q was a psyop to keep people from digging into Racine and stuff like that. Whatever. It's stupid.
Yeah.
The Rothschilds live in Racine. I just wrote here false.
Yeah.
So the best I could find is that there was this one obituary from this 100-year-old woman who happened to have the last name of Rothschild, who she got from her husband who died like 20 years before her.
Right.
They also have a big problem with Donald Trump apparently being a Jesuit Freemason. I mean, whatever, who cares?
Who cares? Yeah.
And then you have the deal, right? And finally the deal. This is a big thing that they talk about a lot too, because this is a current modern day conspiracy, is that this will be the last post that we have pulled from the document.
Trump made the deal in Racine, Wisconsin for the eighth wonder of the world with a family of satanic pedophiles to enable the agenda beyond 21 and 2030 of eternal enslavement.
Is that the name? The agenda beyond... That's a Trump name. This is the agenda beyond 21 and 2030 of eternal enslavement.
Mm-hmm. If you dig into it for like 3 seconds, you get that the eighth wonder of the world was actually the Foxconn facility that they were supposed to build right outside of Racine, Wisconsin, which turned out to be just a big clusterfuck. It didn't actually like pan out to anything, but that's where it all comes from, right? That's the deal, is that Trump wanted the Foxconn facility and then quote unquote sold out everybody because like it was going to become like, I don't know, bring in Agenda 2030 because it's going to cause Racine to want to be a smart city and yada, 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 and all that other stuff.
You bring in a Foxconn. Foxconn's gonna,
Foxconn. Ah, fuck.
Foxconn would love smart cities.
I should have called this Foxconn in the hen house. Fuck! I missed my opportunity on this.
Yeah, Foxconn in the hen house.
But that's it. That's everything that's worth talking about.
Yeah.
So I have final thoughts. My final thought is basically summed up by this one poster on greatawakening.win, and he had this to say. The Racine crew always posts like this, broad strokes, no real info, links that go nowhere. Then when you criticize, they all go, we're against murdering children. Why are you okay with child murder? They never connect the dots. It's a big rabbit trail where they doing it the same way on Reddit and Vote 3 to 4 years ago. Lots of real indictments, etc. coming out now. None have to do with Racine, by the way. So the rabbit trailers are back. Look over here. Seriously, these Racine bedwetters have been doing this shit for 4 years. 100% broad conspiracy stuff, no connections given, and tried to send you spinning off into unproductive, time-consuming waste of time. See how they tried to make you sound stupid when you simply asked for a bit of detail and connections? It's not you. They've been doing this horse shit for years. That's basically, I think, all I have left to say about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, my final thoughts are, not to harp on the same thing, but this is just, it's like an element and a side effect of the information density. Like, there's so much information here, and like, you can't even pull it together into a coherent story. There's nothing like, that post you just read, it's just a bunch of loose threads. That's all it really is.
So this is what all the conspiracy guys are talking about. This is all of their quote unquote evidence and stuff like that. So I felt a little disappointed. I thought there would be more here than there was. But I think that this is another prime example of what we talked about in Project Bluebeam, is the laundering of a few people's crazy ideas and a game of telephone. That's really all this is. Right? It's one person pulling on one thing and then adding more to it. It is a collective hallucination of grander conspiracy that doesn't actually exist. Because I think I've made my point pretty clear in previous episodes, is that I don't think that there is a grand conspiracy. The only conspiracy that we have found ourselves in is one of incompetence. And they're filling in the gaps because there's nothing of substance.
The grand conspiracy is the one perpetrated against the working class. And, that's the only real conspiracy there is, in my opinion.
That's it. That's what I'm closing out this fucking season with.
That's good. That's good. It's something. It's a lot of information, and people will get something out of it.
I don't know what.
What do you think the scope and impact of this is, right? Like, how many people do you think believe this?
At least 3 people.
At least 3. Because, a lot of this stuff spreads in like Facebook groups and has a larger following than you maybe think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
well, the thing is that the reason that I started this whole investigation in the first place is because I do tune into several conspiracy podcasts and stuff like that to kind of see what the pulse is on where we are in the conspiracy ecosystem, right? And this is one of the topics that's constantly brought up. But like I said, they never get into the substance of it. So I thought that, well, if they're not going to get into it, I want to get into it. And what I found is that it's all fluff. There's no substance to it. Just like a lot of conspiracies have no substance to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing. You really have to have swallowed the pill, because there's probably substance. If you would just take the actual pill and swallow it, I think maybe, I wonder if there's more to it than because you're not pilled enough into it,
Yeah, maybe my still cognizant credulousness, right, has prevented me from believing this stuff, right? But I also think that you have to, not to say that there's something wrong with the people, right? There's the problem is that there is a societal trend, right, to feel isolated and left out, right? And to not know what's happening, you have to kind of start filling in the gaps for yourself, right? But then you find your echo chamber, whatever that may be, and then these ideas start bouncing back and forth between people, right? It's like, well, it's this, that, and the other thing. And then that's how this stuff propagates, right? It's the echo chamber effect of the conspiracy, not so much like the substance of it to begin with that leads people down to be pilled in the first place, right? They feel,
Right.
like you said, like it's a conspiracy against the working class, right? Well, the working class feels put out, right? Well, why do they feel put out? Well, it's because their economic situations and everything else in their life hasn't really panned out the way that it was promised to them when they were, younger, or the rules have changed, right? We're in a much more like isolated and technocratic society than we were in like the 80s even, right?
Right. And it's not meant for them. Like there's not space for them. And it's like I was saying earlier. I mean, this is the big fear and push against 15-minute cities and eating bugs. It's that those things don't hold space for the working class. And it's the working class, at least the way it's viewed and probably the way it would actually be carried out. That would be the ones eating the bugs. Like the people in the 15-minute cities will have fresh fruit and vegetables and vegan diets and many other things to fall back on. It's going to be the excess people who have to eat the bugs. And the excess people are the ones that are, shouldering the work of society and, as always.
Yeah. I mean, they feel put out, right? There's not a lot of like actual to like dig into the actual depths and stuff like that. I spent literally 3 weeks on this to dig out the stuff that I found, right? And I mean, the lifestyle and like career that I have has allowed me to dedicate time to that, right? To dig into what the truth is and everything else. But,
Right.
most people don't have that kind of stuff. So they hear the headlines and the sound bits and it's like, oh, well, there must be something there, right? Because they don't have time to do the digging and research, right?
Right.
They don't have
Yeah.
the bandwidth to do that stuff. So you start hearing these things.
Right. And to get it back to my point, it's an element and a symptom of the information density because not only do people not have the time for it, but there's so much information to process. It is an element of time, but it's also an element of like, how much can I process in a day? This stuff is actually pretty low hanging. It's right there on Facebook and my groups. I can like grab it, digest it, and wow, look, these people that actually are kind of have their boot on my neck are the problem. And here's why. It's because they're in weird sex cults and paying for prostitutes and trafficking them and stuff,
Mm-hmm. That's how all this stuff gets started. So, I mean,
How it all go?
yep. So I think that this is a useful exercise, right? I think that it is stupid on its face, right? Nothing that we talked about tonight really has a whole lot of merit to it once you start digging into it. But I think that this exercise is useful, if nothing else, to kind of illustrate how these things can propagate and transmute into wider conspiracy culture, right? Because you don't have to dig into it, right? All you have to do is listen to somebody tell you about it. And that's how this problem starts, right? It's the echo chamber and it's the, like you said, increased information density. I mean, someone's going to listen to this. I mean, like we have 10 people who are going to listen to this and they're going to, maybe look at the links that I post. I mean, there's going to be 30 links that I'm going to post with this episode, right? Into the Discord. And, I don't expect very many people to actually click on every single one of them, right? So it goes to that, right? I mean,
I do. I think that all our listeners should do their due diligence and vet what we're saying because we could just be making this shit up.
yeah,
Actually,
but
we're not.
that's the thing.
We're very honest.
I mean, that's why I cite all my sources, even when they are just Wikipedia.
Yeah.
But I mean, like nobody, like if you're listening to a conspiracy podcast, you're not going to dig into all the related links because
No.
it's all going to be
No, it's
shit
just going to
from-
be data you heard, you took in, and it's even worse because like oftentimes that's like, well, this person read this from a book or they read this off a website. So it's not even, you're getting it third hand. So it gives it even more validity.
Mm-hmm. So I think that that's enough. I think we've kind of covered everything that we need to cover with this. My favorite part and the last Patreons of the season, Joshua. Are you excited?
Last Patreons of the season. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, I'll let you go first.
You can go first if you want.
Okay.
I mean, I have one.
You do? I'll let you go first.
Okay. All right, listener, for $69 a month,
Oh, yeah.
we will allow you to join our Supreme Order of Jester Knights. It's not weird or sexual
No.
or anything.
Supreme Order of Jester Knights. You didn't go with Knights of the Post-Reality?
No, Supreme Order of Jester Knights.
Okay. Yep, $69.
For $4.20 a month, you can join our Knights of Post-Reality.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually an apocryphal group,
Yeah,
so
is it?
only the cool people will join it.
Yeah, you can't join that one. You got to be invited. 13 members a month.
13 members total. Actually, if we can get just 13
hell
members
yeah.
to join Knights of Post Reality at $420 a month.
You could be our majestic 13 of the Post-Reality.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it.
It could be
Exclusive.
you. Yeah. Who
All
else?
13 of you that listen to this episode?
Well, 11,
now?
because I assume that me and you will also be in the majestic 13. So actually, there's only 11 spots left, dear listener. Get yours now.
No, we're the leaders. Like,
Well, we would be in the group still.
there's 13 paid spots. I'm not paying to be in my own fucking club.
Okay, so there's 15 members of the club.
No, there's 13 members and 2 leaders.
There's 13 members. The leaders are still
We're not
part of the club.
members. No, we're not members. Members don't get to like make decisions and, make decrees and like lead the group.
Well,
Members they're parasocially in the group
I
with
see.
us.
Okay. It's still 15 members, but whatever.
Not only, no, see, here's the difference actually. If you were a member, then you would be able to say, not only am I the leader of the Knights of Post Reality, I'm also a member. But see, you're not a member.
If you're the leader of a
Because you're not
group,
paying.
you're by
You're not
default
paying
a
for
member.
membership. Not necessarily.
Okay, I'm putting a poll in the Discord. We're gonna have them tell us who's right on this.
Well, we need to make sure we give everybody enough time to listen to this.
No,
Because I think
right now,
that
I'm clicking
that
over to the
leading a
Discord.
group does not make you inherently a member of the group. I mean, you're in the group, but you're not. A member is a paid participant within the group.
You could be you're a part of the group, and you're just kind of like wandering around the word member of the group.
No, because if you're not paying for it, then you're not paying for a membership.
Okay, you don't have a membership, but you're still a member.
You're the owner. You're the not the king. We don't have kings in our Knights of Post Reality. You're the chief knight. Chief Knight 1, Chief Knight 2.
So you're the paladins?
Yeah, the paladins. We're not members, we're paladins.
Okay, we got there.
We are the paladins of Post Reality, and our group that can join us and have memberships are the Knights of Post Reality.
I see.
Does that make it better for you? If you and I get to be called paladins?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess
Okay.
I can deal with that. Paladins of Post Reality. I know what I'm changing our names to in the Discord. So now that we've got that all out of the way,
All right, what's your Patreon?
Patreon. Well, I was gonna do something similar to this, so now I gotta think about it for a second.
See, that's why I wanted you to go first. Every time I do one, you just say, "Oh, I was going to do that same one."
Yeah, because it's better than what I had in my mind.
Yeah.
For $500,000, I will design you a house.
Nice.
You can commission
Not build it,
No,
yeah.
I will design.
but design it.
You can commission the first house of the post reality, and I will design it for you. It'll have a flat roof, and it'll be leaky as fuck, and
All
you'll
glass
have
walls.
no privacy from your neighbors.
Yeah. Glass walls outside. Exterior walls are all glass.
Yeah, everything's
Interior
glass.
walls are all glass. Well, I'm
mhm.
not telling you how to design your house. You're the house designer.
Yeah, no toilets, bidets only.
No toilets.
You gotta take a shit.
Bidets only.
Yeah, you gotta take a shit in the shower and waffle stomp it down the drain.
Oh, nasty. Are the shower walls also glass?
Yeah.
all the way around.
Yeah, so your neighbors are watching you take a shit in the shower.
Yeah, and waffle stomp it. Yeah.
Okay, that's my Patreon for you.
That's good. And you can put your Night of Post Reality poster up because you'll get a poster.
Mm-hmm. Get all your posters of all the Sasquatches.
Sass snatches.
And Sassnatches. That's it. We're done. We finished the season, Joshua. How do you feel?
Season, I feel fine.
Yeah?
I feel great because I've been doing yoga and eating healthy. We've went over this.
Mm-hmm. I feel great because I don't have to do any more editing for a moment after this episode comes out.
For a moment.
Things are coming. We'll talk to you later about it, listener. But things are changing. Good things, though.
Keep an eye on this feed, and we'll let you know what's coming down.
Yeah. Keep an eye on this space.
Yeah.
Ta-ta for now, listener.
Good night. Was that the change? Ta-ta for now?
No.
Okay.
What did we say it was? Sassnatch? Squatch snatch?
Squash snatch? Yeah.
Sassnatch. I think that's what
this
it was.
Is this in the list of things you can eat?
Yeah, it is. Eat some Sassnatch. Yeah. Get in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.